Hey guys, it's Ella from MaltaNutrition. Welcome back to another interview. Today we are joined by Hyrox athlete Rosalie Borg, and she is going to be telling us a bit about her and her lifestyle as a Hyrox athlete. How did you first get into Hyrox and what drew you to the sport?
I think to begin with, Hyrox went from a sport not being known by anyone to a sport that everybody wants to do. I only heard about Hyrox, I think, in the last 2 years. I was randomly at a gym and a friend of mine came along. She was just looking at me training and she said, "Have you heard about Hyrox?" And I said, "Not really." She said, "I think it would be a sport that you would really do well in." She explained briefly what it was about. And then as soon as it started slowly coming up on my feed, on my socials, I started having a look at it and I really start thinking that's something that I really want to try. The first time that it was held in Malta was in September of 2 years ago. And that was the first time that I actually attempted it before any particular training towards it. Obviously, I had previous fitness background, of course, that we will explore together. But that is basically how I got into Hyrox.
What's your athletic background prior to Hyrox?
Up to 4 years ago, now nearly 5, I was a footballer. I was into football. Football is my background. I've done football all my life. You can say I excel a little bit involved in football, more into the coaching part now rather than the actual playing part. But 4 years ago, changes in my personal life forced me to have to end my career in football. And this is how I then transitioned into running, basically. I first started running. The first race that I actually did was OCR related. And from there, from that one particular race, which I happened to have won without any particular training in preparation for that particular race, it opened the lifestyle, let's put it that way, to the life that I live today. My athletic background is coming from football, but then that was the foundation to what I have today. And in these 4 years, I have been doing road racing and trail running. I've even transitioned on the national team of athletics, and I do steeplechase, and I've done 2 GSSEs as well in these last 2 years. And now the next step was Hyrox. So I even did some CrossFit in these 2 years, and I am what we call kind of a hybrid athlete. I'm a multi-sport athlete. I like to challenge myself, so I try to find competitions which suits my fitness ability, and whatever suits my fancy, my interest, I attempt. I was very lucky in these 4 years. I have managed to be successful in all the disciplines that I tried. But now I am getting a little bit older, so I have to train a little bit wiser to try to make sure that I maintain my fitness without obviously getting injured. So at this moment in time, I am still, my main focus is still running. It will still remain running. And because I believe that it's the base to everything else that I do, I will continue to focus upon Hyrox and steeplechase for sure in the upcoming year.
What does a typical training week look like for you?
So my programming is all based around my running. So I have my running coach, he gives me the running program, and then I have a super patient strength coach which works around my running program. I do attend also some other functional fitness sessions because I train a lot alone, but then I try to find ways where I can train with people of the same ability as me. So I seek ways how I can now feel a little bit more motivated than when I am alone. But all my week is based on my running. So if I have a hard session today, that would mean that my strength coach would have to adapt her training sessions for me the day before and the day after. Most of my strength work happens on the same day of the hard track session or the hard road day. So that then the following day I can have lighter sessions to recover from the running program. I train 6 to 7 days a week. I run practically every day. My mileage goes up. It varies, depends on what event is coming up next. So it varies between 70 kilometers to 100 kilometers per week. And then I fit in everything else that happens like OCR and high excited training in between my running.
What's your favorite and least favorite workout station?
Okay, so my favorites would definitely have to be the Farmer's Ferry and the wall balls. They are what I would consider my favorite stations. However, I will not reveal my least favorite station.
We have to know, yeah, I have to know, I have to know.
That is a secret. I will not share.
Oh, she told me and I agreed. One day you have to tell me.
One day.
And they're gonna get curious. How do you balance endurance, strength, and functional fitness in your programs?
It's hard to get the combination of the two, right? But I think when someone is doing such an event, he really needs to understand his body. Like I said, all my week is based on my running, so my endurance is always given the highest priority in everything that I do. What I do really well is I understand how I'm feeling on the day, and I share how I'm feeling with my coaches, both of my coaches, both my strength coach, my running coach, and also if I attend any other sessions. If I attend any other sessions and there is too much lower body, for example, which I would know is fatigued already and may lead to more chances of injury than benefits, I will definitely do adaptations. I do try to include strength twice a week, for sure, specific to Hyrox. And then I do also some group work related to OCR in the week as well. But everything is based on how I'm feeling on the day, based on my endurance sessions, based on my running sessions. I think it's a tricky combination, you know. Also, it depends on the event that is coming. If I am, if Hyrox is in 2-3 months' time and I have road racing at the moment, my strength, for example, importance would be endurance. It always depends on when the event is. The planning is something that is really important, something that everyone needs to really take care of before undergoing any type of session. But everything goes around my running.
Do you have any specific diet or eating habits to enhance your performance?
Yes, for sure. I have my own nutritionist, gives me the nutritional advice, gives me my diet. It is always depending on the event that is coming up, and when the event is coming up, if it's during the week, if it's at the weekend, if it's in the morning, if it's in the evening, it makes a big difference. But yes, sometimes I'm on a calorie deficit because I need to lose weight. Sometimes I need to bulk up a little bit, so the calories in my diet increase in that case. And obviously, it is all enhanced by the supplements that I take because I believe that it's a combination of the three for better performance: the supplements, the food that we eat, and the training. Besides this, also there is mental preparation, of course, the sleep, which probably everybody is guilty and maybe neglecting a little bit, especially during the summer period. Yes, for sure. And I do try to follow the diet as much as I can because it gives me the amount of food that I need depending on the training associated with the day.
How do you fuel during training versus race day?
I try to keep things pretty much the same. I don't like changing things. My mentality in training is the same as the mentality on race day in reality. On race day, there is a little bit more anxiety. Let's put it that way. That is more control during training days. But what I eat during training or what I use, the supplements that I use are the same that I would use on race day. The only thing that I add on race day would probably be the gels to enhance the performance, especially when they are longer distances between 10K and half marathon. In Hyrox, I always use a gel halfway through the race, or if needed, sometimes two, depending on the energy levels and depending also on the weather conditions. If it's very hot, sometimes you need to hydrate and you need an extra gel. But generally, I understand my body during the race. I know exactly what I need and the time. I always have them with just in case, and I feel accordingly.
How do you balance personal life with fitness?
That is a very difficult question. Those who know me know that my personal life has some challenges in it. I have two children. One is 16 and one is turning 9. So all my life, besides being an athlete, actually, to top the list of who I am a mother first. So everything that I do during the day is scheduled according to their priorities. They always come first. Both of them are athletes. My eldest plays for the national team, he plays football, and my little one does breakdancing and basketball. When I didn't have any sport assistance, my training time used to start at 4 to 5 in the morning, so that during the day I will be able to handle their training sessions. Because otherwise, if I need to train in the afternoon, it gets really complicated to manage everything. I do have a lot of support. My parents help me a lot. But to find the correct balance between my athletic part and my personal life, sometimes it takes a lot of time management, a lot of planning. The week is well planned before, so at the weekend I try to understand my children's schedule, my schedule, and in that time I also have to schedule the meal prepping, so that during the week things get a little bit easier when it comes to the department, so that during the week everything just falls into place. But I do train in the morning, and I do generally train also in the afternoon now that I have a sport scheme which helps me to plan better. At least allows me to train during the time when my children are at school, makes things much easier. I do not have much of a social life, and I've given priority to excelling in what I do. I wanted to reach elite levels, and in order to do this, I had to unfortunately be alone.
Isolated.
Yes, be alone, isolate a little bit, and say no to many social events that obviously I would want to attend but cannot.
How do you mentally prepare for a big competition?
The mental part, I think, is the hardest part. It's a part that I don't think many athletes give importance to. However, from the beginning of when I started competing, I realized that my anxiety levels get very high. I tend to find myself alone, reflect on the race, what I want to do in the race, how I'm going to build up myself for the race. But what I generally do is have a lot of self-talk. I try to balance the negative thoughts with the positive thoughts. I try to see how I'm going to let the positive thoughts take over. During my running, my easy runs, generally I have a lot of self-talk all the time. I listen to music, it calms me down a lot. And I try to keep a routine. Everything that I do in the 3-4 days before the race are always generally as much as possible the same. I have conversations with myself on how I'm going to react. Should there be a difference, something that comes up which I cannot control, which maybe may disrupt those 3 to 4 days, and try to evaluate how I'm going to work around the changes so that it doesn't affect me mentally in preparation for the competition or the race.
What's been your toughest race so far and why?
The toughest race has got to be the Hyrox race that I did in Germany in March. Overall, I think the hardest event that I ever did is steeplechase. I think every time that I compete in the steeplechase, it's what I would consider as the hardest event. But when it comes to the Hyrox racing, the hardest one I did definitely has to be one in Germany, where 3 or 4 days before the race, I had a tear in my hamstring. I had everything booked, there was a hike towards and I was preparing for it, but unfortunately I sustained this injury. It didn't stop me from doing it. However, obviously the performance was not as exactly how I wished. I still wanted to do it. It was a solo trip, something that I wanted to do as well, to just go alone without depending on anyone, And obviously there were the stations that were highly dependent on hamstring ability, hamstring strength, are ones that I had to maintain using the upper body upper body only, which obviously made the race super, super tough. I still managed to complete it, much longer time than expected. But still, it was in the pro category. It was my first time attempting the pro category, actually, without specific training in the pro weights. But I still finished, I think it was top 20, I think, like top 16 in the end. So it still wasn't a bad result after all. I'm glad I still went and actually did it. Since I was there, I decided to then the following day also register for the Norway category, and I placed second on the day. So at least, despite having this injury, I still managed to get a place in at least. So it made me feel like I didn't go to Germany for nothing. Done. Thank you.
Do you have any pre-race rituals or routines?
I try not to change anything. I wake up very early. I actually train before the race. I do a very light training session, 35-minute training session. It gets me into the mood, helps me to calm down my nerves. I do want to wake up early to get my supplements sorted into my system, into my body. I like to park my car in the same place I would have parked the first time. So I would want to go early for my race to park in that particular park or in that particular area because, what's the word?
Superstition.
Superstition. That's the word. Superstition.
For luck.
And so, yes, I would need to go before. So if there isn't a parking there, I would wait until it becomes available. And I do like to wear the same things from the outside, no, but like the same sports, the same socks, the same, exactly, at least of the same brand. That's it. But yes, I do things pretty much the same on competition. I would not want anyone to have a conversation with before the race. For many years, people have been telling me, like, you are not the person you are at the finish line. It's true because I'm so anxious. I wouldn't want to communicate. I would want to be alone. I would be lost in my thoughts. People think that I am a snob. But then they got used to how I am for the race. So yes, I try to keep everything pretty much the same.
What has been your most successful race achievement in your sport so far?
It has got to be related to the Hyrox side in November, where I placed first in my age category. It was totally unexpected because it was in a time where I wasn't particularly also focusing on Hyrox. I had the games of the small states of Europe coming up, so my main focus was rather on steeplechase rather than on Hyrox. My friend wanted to go abroad and do it. They invited him to come over, and I attempted it, and I actually won the race. It was a really big success for me. When it comes to the local races, I think my favorite Hyrox race here must be the one we just did in June. It was a very hot day. A friend of mine asked me to join in a mixed doubles race, but my priority was taking part in the single female event because I am part of the league and I didn't want to not get the maximum points on the day. But I accepted to doubles in the morning, where with my friend who had zero experience in Hyrox as well, managed to obtain second place. He's a triathlete, so he has solid background. Obviously, I went home. I tried to rest because the other race was in the afternoon at 5. It was a very hot day. It was pretty much a heat wave. I was crying at home, not wanting to go for the race because I was tired, I was hot. There was a build up to this race because everybody was making a little bit of pressure because they were telling me that there was going to be high competition in this race. But obviously, I said I am at home, I am crying. It seems like I am feeling like I'm going to chicken out, but I didn't want to chicken out. I wanted to turn up for the race. I did, and I actually won the race with the 7 minutes advantage. So I was pretty happy with that achievement, to be honest.
What's something people misunderstand about Hyrox?
I have to say the importance of running. The running has to not be the part where you struggle when you are doing the Hyrox. And the stations are stations that are proven and manageable by everyone. It's not like you have technical stations or technical skills like you find in CrossFit, for example. They are stations that everybody can do irrelevant of the fitness level, given that you are given the clearance by the doctor that you are fit enough to train. But most people who attempt Hyrox, I think originally, maybe now it's changing a little bit, gave more importance to the stations rather than running. I think if you build your aerobic capacity through the running, the whole event can become much easier when you're doing it, because if you are feeling like you are dying on the run, then everything else is going to become a struggle. But the run has to become the rest. Even if you are running fast, even if you are running it, 4 per kilometer, the run has to feel easy, has to make you calm down, so that going into the stations, you are ready to go, not you are dying just about you are going into the stations. Generally, the best runner tends to start first, especially when you are doing doubles, until the other one rests a bit. But I think that both need to prioritize the running, build the aerobic capacity well, because it will make everything feel so much better during the race. I think Hyrox, the Hyrox athletes have very strong running, and this is why they do well then in the range. So that would be definitely something that I would point out. Okay.
If you could go back and tell your past self one thing before your first race, what would it be?
It's going to be okay. First time that I actually raced, I was so anxious. Despite now doing many, many races and winning many races, the anxiety levels, I am still trying to find ways on how to control it. Above everything, I want to also tell myself to enjoy it. Because until it's the finish line, it's when I start enjoying it. But during the process, when I see my friends, I don't know, doing Hyrox, they're all smiling in their races, and I'm always with the stress face. I want to try to tell myself, listen, it's going to be okay. Enjoy it. Do your best, yes. Bring out the best of you, but in the process, convince yourself that enjoyment should also be on the top priority. Always.
And to conclude, what advice would you give someone doing their first Hyrox or wanting to do one?
To build the aerobic capacity first. Yes, I am not saying to exclude totally the training of the stations. No, you have to, especially those that are more strength based than endurance based. But I think to make it more of an enjoyable experience, or let's put it that way, less stress on the body, I think I would suggest anyone to have the right aerobic capacity in preparation for an Hyrox. Also, for anyone racing Hyrox, they must also understand the rock zone, which may sometimes disrupt a little bit the race. Understand where you have to go in from, where you have to go out from, because it can mess up a race very easily. I think those who know about Hyrox have now understood that there are certain arenas which would require you to run twice around, some that would require you to run once around, and some that would require you to run 3 times around. Understanding how the arena that you are going to participate in is very important, also for the preparation. What the people need to do is understand how many times they need to run around the arena, around the track that they're going to compete in, because it helps them to prepare better mentally as well, because traveling all the way to a competition abroad to get a penalty or did not finish simply because of missing on a run or missing on a station. What I would advise as well is that anybody attempting to do Hyrox, I think that now it's all coming out that just because there aren't too many technical skills, like I mentioned, like in CrossFit, it is an event for everyone. Which I agree, it is an event for everyone. However, I do always recommend to get the medical clearance before you attempt something like that, because people do not understand what the body undergoes when it does such a tough event.
Thank you for giving us your time and spending this little afternoon with us, and for joining us on the channel of MaltaNutrition. As a thank you, we have prepped a little goodie bag for you to enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next interview. This was our interview with Rosalie Borg.
Thank you for having me.
Perfect.